All right, y'all. Oh, there we go. And we're up. So, I'll wait for a moment for you guys to join on in on my live. I know I just went live in for worship in a word, but I'm just hold on one second. Y'all, I'm gonna share this with a couple of other people. All right, there. Mom Dukes was texting asking for where am I going live at? So you may see me look that way. I'm not talking to myself. I promise you. I'm not crazy. I mean, a little bit, but not where I talk to myself. Like if someone's here, someone's really here though. Nanique's here. You can't see her, but she's here. Not just in spirit, physically. So, anywho. So I'll wait a moment while you guys are joining on in. Joining on in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. All right, I don't know what's up with that. All right, I got one person here. Thank you for joining me. Muchos thank yous for joining on in. I got 2 people. Yes. All right. You guys join me. Join me tonight. I'm going live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So wherever works easier for you, whatever tickles your fancy and how you like to flow with your social media. You guys can hear me well? Hope you can hear me good. Nothing's muted this time. So I'm just double checking that it's working. So I'm checking all the spots. Awesome. Sweet. So, alrighty. Thank you for joining. Alrighty. So, thank you for joining on in. I know you guys are all joining in from different places, different platforms, and some of you may listen to this later on. But I wanted to jump on here outside of the ministry things I do with Worship in a Word, along with I mean, it's just worship in a word right now, right? Yeah, that's all I could say. It's just worship in a word right now. Or just random times where I choose to get on and do some worship. I have not chosen to do that yet because I am still in the process of getting stronger and trying to regain my strength vocally, and my lungs, my breathing, all of that good stuff. I am working on getting that back. And I wanted to share this testimony because I shared some with you guys, a bit with you guys when we started back up with Worship in a Word. I think this was back in August, I want to say. And I gave a little bit of my testimony, what happened there. And then here and there, I've given you snippets. I don't plan to be before you really long. If you guys have questions or anything, you're more than welcome to put them in the comments below, and I will read them and answer your questions. All right. But it has been a journey. Okay. last year, 2023. 2023 was a very trying year. All right. It was a year that really, really made you have to either seek the Lord or quit. I think that's the best way I could put it. Either seek the Lord, humble yourself, and do as he tells you, or quit completely. And I chose to seek the Lord. I chose to do what he said at all times and all things. And so I say all that because it is the reason why I'm still here. It is the reason why I can still do what I'm doing right now. And so last year in 2023, I had an unexpected hospital stay. I mean, no one ever expects to stay at the hospital unless you really suffer with chronic illness, and I do. I have eosinophilic asthma and allergy asthma as well. And so I have both, and I've struggled with it. I think my first asthma attack was when I was like 2 months out of my mom's stomach. And it's been forever. Nothing's ever changed about that. And many people have tried to pray it away and have tried to say that, I'm going to be healed from it and I'm never going to have it again. And, there's just some things that are a thorn in your side. And I know it's the Lord that he's left that there. It's not going to go anywhere. It's a part of what we live in, a fallen world, right? But I don't believe it's going to go anywhere. He didn't tell me it was going to go anywhere because he wanted to show the things that I can do in spite of, and know that it was only him and him alone is the reason why I could sing the way I could sing before. I can do all the things that I used to do before, even while still having horrible lungs and a body that chooses to attack itself and make me have really bad asthma attacks and asthma. And so I last year in October, I went on vacation. You guys saw, I went on a 4-day vacation on a cruise for the first time. Came back home. I was feeling great. I was feeling fine. And I did a worship conference right before then. And I was feeling a little like my asthma was being a little weird. So I did my normal chronic treatment, chronic illness treatment that I would do, which is my sick plan. And I got better and I was feeling good. And I went on my cruise and I came back and I was feeling good. And a few days later, I started feeling the same symptoms again. And so once again, I worked my sick plan. And then things just, I needed to take it to the next step of my sick plan, which was getting a hold of my pulmonologist and starting steroids, prednisone. And so I started that, and from there, it didn't seem to be working because we ended up in the hospital. So, but it didn't start working. And so I was at a point of where, hey, Jose, I was at a point of where I was like, all right, God, I need to go to the hospital and I need to get the third step of the sick plan. So I went to church. I did worship at the church that I used to be pastoring at. And I did worship. And then I was like, yeah, I need to go. I'm not feeling too hot. My lungs are a little wild. And just taking 1 or 2 steps was making me feel winded. And just talking was making me feel winded. I was basically like gasping for air each sentence. Actually, if you probably went to that service that day, you would have saw when I did announcements in prayer or whatever, I was like I'm trying to gasp for air while I was speaking. And so I went afterwards. So after service, I had a friend of mine prayed for me, and she had mentioned before she prayed, she felt like it was something probably spiritual she was discerning that there was maybe something spiritual going on. And I had told her, yeah, I really don't understand why I'm feeling this way, but as part of my sick plan, yada yada, I'm gonna go in and what I would call a tune-up, right? Which would be get a long-acting neb for a couple hours and get everything intravenously. And so I went in there. I left that afternoon and I went to the hospital, and they did the basic steps of everything they're supposed to do, the normal steps. And they were like, so you ready to go home? Do you think you can finish this at home? Do you think we got you over the hump? And I looked at my best friend, because she's the one who took me, my sister, and I looked at her and I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. And she gave me the look like, Mocha, tell the truth. If you don't feel good, you don't look good. And so the doctor kind of stepped out for a moment. He was like, well, let's let this sit for a little bit and we'll see, because you just stopped the treatment and you just did all this. So let's wait a little bit and let's see. I want to say 15, 20 minutes later, right? 15, 20 minutes later, I back up again with another asthma attack, really bad. And then he was like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay. And so, yeah, we have to keep you. And so automatically, due to me being intubated when I was younger, like really younger, and other and having respiratory stuff, I go immediately to the ICU no matter what. And so they were like, well, we're going to send you up to the ICU and we're going to keep you because you should not be having another asthma attack after having it was like 3 hours, right? 3-4 hour treatment. It's usually 2 hours and they doubled it. And it was like almost 4 hour breathing treatment, nebulizer treatment. And it was horrible. I mean, I was shaking. I was all the things. And they were like, yeah, no, we have to keep you because you're still not doing well. So I stayed, and here comes Monday morning. I'm in my room because I was in the emergency room, I think, till 3 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning, around there. 2, 3 in the morning in the emergency room because they're still trying to get me pretty stable and get me a room, yada, yada. I get in there, I'm in the ICU, and here we go again, another asthma attack. So the doctors come see me in the morning. They're like, okay, this is the plan for today. Now this is November 6th now. Okay. I went in on the 5th and they're like, this is the plan. This is Monday morning. This is the plan. We're going to do this. We're going to do this and that. And, I thank God for the doctor that God put there for me, because, the person that he put there for me was also a chronic asthmatic. And they understood what I was saying when I said, I feel this or I feel that, or there's certain things that other asthmatics can really relate to, just like, other diabetics can relate to each other, or other people who have other illnesses like COPD or anything else you may have. There's certain things that you feel and face that only you guys really understood. And so I was grateful that the Lord put this doctor in my path, Dr. Winters. I'm so grateful for her. I'm actually in the process of trying to find her because I want to send her a thank you card for all the things that she did to even listen to me, because I would not be here if it was not for her. And so so I is the now it's November 6th is Monday. I got my plan of what they're going to choose to do. They tried several things, and by this time they put me on what they call a BiPAP, which is an external ventilator, and to just constantly put me on that to try to help me in my lungs to relax and breathe. But still, they kept spasming. Even after having a breathing treatment, 20 minutes later, 15, 20 minutes later, I'm still having another asthma attack. And so they were giving it to me at a certain amount of time and had me on the BiPAP. They saw that my numbers were doing better and that I was doing a little bit better by Monday afternoon or so. And they were like, oh, you can probably go home tomorrow. You're doing a lot better. And so I was like, okay, this is just the usual routine of nothing. Monday night comes. It's a little bit of a rough night, but not too bad. And by Tuesday morning, they were kind of like, you're okay. I think we can probably let you go home later on this evening. And I was like, oh, okay, wonderful. And I almost want to say, Nani, like right after the doctor left and we came up with the plan for the day that I might be going home, I had another bad asthma attack, right? Shortly thereafter. Yeah. Okay. Things are a little bit foggy still for the start of that, all of that. But yeah, so I had another asthma attack, like right after we just came up with the plan and the doc saying, you look good. You might go home today. If not today, then tomorrow. I think that's what he said or what she said. And so I was like, okay, great. I might go home. We're on the right track. The rest of this I can do on my own at home. And so I started feeling a tightness in the bottom of my lungs. I started feeling just this tightness, and I started feeling short of breath. And because I am a singer, I have learned to use my diaphragm to breathe. I am relearning that now. But then I knew how to use my diaphragm to breathe. And so also, growing up as a teenager, my mom had me seeing a holistic, a naturopath, pulmonologist. And so he taught me a lot of different breathing exercise and techniques that we practiced for years to learn how to control from having asthma attacks or making them worse until you can reach your rescue inhaler. And so I've been doing those things all my life. And so I was doing that. And I had, my sister was there, and she's like, I said, listen, I don't feel good. I feel like I feel like it's going to be bad. And she was like, okay. So she tells the nurse tells the resident doctor, and the resident doctor is like, oh, okay, well, don't worry. You just had a treatment like 20 minutes ago. You're not due for another 3.5 hours. And I'm like, I don't care. I need one right now, please. I can't breathe. I'm having a hard time. And she's like, oh, no, your numbers look fine. You're okay. You don't need it. Just relax. I think this is anxiety. Now, y'all know me. Well, some of y'all know me. Not all of y'all know me. But some of y'all know me. I'm not one to like, oh my God. Oh my. That's not me. I've led worship, okay? An hour and a half worship set, having an asthma attack, okay? Not having my airways fully cleared and needing to take my inhaler in the middle of leading worship, okay? So for this lady to come tell me this, you know I was livid. On top of like feeling all of the things I was feeling, I was livid. I was like, okay, no, this cannot be. So then the nurse, I'd send Nanik back out to go talk to the nurse because I'm like, listen, I can't. I need a treatment. It's going to be bad. I feel it's coming on. It's going to be really bad. And she goes out to the nurse and is like, listen, we're really She struggled with asthma all her life. If she says she's gonna have an asthma attack, she's gonna have one, and we're really trying to prevent her from being intubated. This is that's like one of her biggest fears. So if you please can tell a doctor, we really need her to have another breathing treatment. And so the nurse goes and tells the doctor. It's the resident doctor, not the one that saved my life. The resident doctor, and she comes back and she's like, okay, well, you just had a breathing treatment, and so I'll ask for an inhaler. And I was like, an inhaler? I got one of those in my backpack in the closet. I don't need that. I need an actual breathing treatment. So I was frustrated, upset, and I could barely talk because the moment I started talking, I was already coughing, and I knew I had to maintain myself so that way I wouldn't have an asthma attack, make it worse, right? I was already having one, and my airways were already constricted, so I was already having a hard time breathing. No matter what my numbers ever say on the screen for my oxygen levels, it doesn't matter what it says. I know how to control my breathing, and so I do that. And so I already was frustrated, and I'm telling Anik, I'm like, Anik, it's really bad. Like I can't breathe. This is really hard for me. Like I'm really trying to maintain calm and know that I feel my airways are slowly closing on me. Okay. I feel it. And they're just getting tighter and tighter and making it harder for me to breathe deeply. And so she runs out back to the nurse and tells him, I think it was a him, right? At that point? Yeah, it was a him. She told him, and he went and told whoever he needed to tell. But by then it was too late. I already was having a really bad asthma attack, and the doctor came in, Dr. Winters, and I'm grateful for my mom and for Nanik because they advocated for me the entire time. Every time they knew something wasn't right, they kept saying something to the doctor, especially knowing that I couldn't really speak. And so when I woke up from my coma, I looked on my phone and I had notes open, and I had notes that I wrote. Apparently, I asked Nanik, who wrote this, and she's like, "You wrote that. You wrote that to the doctor." And I was like, "Oh, I thought I did, but I couldn't remember." Mind you, oxygen deprivation. Things are a little foggy, and so I was writing to the doctor because I could no longer speak. But they put me back on the BiPAP, and I was like, "You didn't listen to me. You didn't take heed, and you could have prevented this had you listened to me. Now look how bad I am. Like now I need to be on the external ventilator." And I was doing better. And so so she's like, "I'm so sorry, Miss Wilson." And you know what? And I was shocked because my sister told me that she reprimanded the resident doctor, but not in a way of like, "You stupid, you're this, you're that." No, it was in a very teaching manner. Like, listen, I'm an asthmatic. If someone's an asthmatic and it's in their chart, or they say they've been an asthmatic their whole life, if they're telling you they can't breathe, you need to listen to that. You can't go above that. You can't go past what you see in the numbers. You need to listen to your patient. And so I was grateful to hear that she was teaching her that and use that as a teaching moment rather than just being really upset. So let me move forward from there. So we went into, I was on the BiPAP. They were giving me a breathing treatment, another long breathing treatment, which isn't something common that they do, because it already raises your heart rate faster than it needs to be. But they were seeing that I was still having a hard time. I was having a hard time to take a deep breath in. They can hear the tightness in my lungs. And so Dr. Winters came, and she said, Miss Wilson, we need to try giving you an epi. We need to try one other thing, trying ketamine. Those two things open up your airways. If that works, then we're good. But if not, do you give us permission to intubate you? And so intubation has always been my greatest fear. I'm not really afraid of many things, but intubation was one of them. And the reason why intubation has always been my greatest fear is not because so much of that I have to be on a ventilator and it has to breathe for me, but I know the next steps within ventilator. And some of you may be saying, well, being on a ventilator doesn't mean that you're going to die. No, it doesn't. But I know from my family members who have been on the ventilators that they don't keep the tube in your throat, in your mouth for that long. It then needs to move from your mouth to your throat. And that cuts through your vocal cords, that you're at high risk of losing your voice, losing your vocal cords. And it happens within a short amount of time. I think the longest I think I've ever heard of someone being intubated through the mouth was like 3 days, 72 hours. And so it was my biggest fear that it would happen, because I'm like, Lord, you've given me a gift to sing and to worship you and to preach and to minister unto the people. I mean, if this is your will that I lose that, then okay. But I know you will hold the hands of those who are working on me. And so I had to tell myself that mentally, because I couldn't speak anymore. Not only did I have the external BiPAP on me, ventilator on me, but also I could not speak. I was at a point of, if I spoke, I would have another asthma attack within having an asthma attack. That's where I was. And so the doctor, she tried epi, I think like 2 or 3 times, right, Nanik?
Yeah, at least once, yeah.
She tried a couple times with the epi. Nothing. She tried the ketamine, nothing. And it came to the point of where she said, all right, Ms. Wilson, we need you to rest. We need you to rest. And so we're going to need to intubate you. And due to the ketamine, if anyone's ever had that, you're kind of like in and out and not fully all there. But I do remember my mom touching my forehead and giving me a kiss and telling me, you need to rest. It's okay. You're going to feel better. Your body needs to rest. And then my sister telling me, kissing me on my forehead as well, and then telling me the same thing. It's going to be okay. The Lord is with you. You just need to rest. It's okay. Just close your eyes and rest, Mocha. And those are the 2 faces I last saw. And I last remember seeing. And I tell you, I didn't go down without a fight. When I woke up from my coma, the nurses told me that I didn't go down without a fight, that they were there when I was being intubated. They said I had like 15 nurses in the room with me and several doctors while they were intubating me. And they were like telling me that I vaguely remember them putting me under so they can intubate me. And they were saying, if you can hear us, raise your hand. So I was like, okay, I can still hear you. Raise my hand. All right, Miss Wilson, if you can still hear us, raise your hand. Raise my hand. And they're like, okay, give her more of this, yada, 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 give her more of that. And they gave me more. And then they're like, Miss Wilson, can you still hear us? And At this point, I'm pretty sure with all they were giving me, my body was like so heavy that I couldn't feel like I couldn't move. But then I was like, no, you need to move because you can still hear them. Oh my God, no, 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 you're still awake. No, they can't do this to you while you're awake. Oh my gosh, no. And I was like, when I tell you, I told my brain, move. And my hand went up and they were like, what? How is she still awake? We gave her this amount and this amount. And oh my goodness, doc was like, it's okay. Give her something else. Look at her heart rate's going up. She's still awake. She can still hear us. We need her to be sedated completely. And so they did it and they got me down, but I didn't go down without a fight, which is usually how I roll. I don't go out without a fight. But while I was under, now I'm officially intubated and in a coma, a medical induced coma. And it's now today. November 8th. I already been in the coma for a day and it's the following day and I'm not getting better. If anything, my lungs, I'm still having an asthma attack even while being sedated completely. And they weren't understanding why, and my body was rejecting the ventilator. And the pulmonary therapist said if they would continue to keep trying to push oxygen for the machine to breathe for me, that my lungs would have exploded inside, and they weren't understanding why my body was rejecting the ventilator. So even after them sedating me and all the things, I was still headed on my way out, and my body was rejecting and doing the things that it shouldn't. It didn't make sense to any of the doctors as to why I was experiencing the things that I was experiencing. And so on November 8th, they went to my mom and asked her if they can completely sedate me and put me in a paralytic state. And now this paralytic state would put me in a place where from my neck down, everything would be paralyzed. And of course my mom said yes. They said this was the only way to save me. And so she did, and they did. And I'm grateful for that, because that's where things were able to really calm down, or so I thought, right? I thought things would calm down. But in the midst of that, I was experiencing some really demonic experience. In the midst of me being in my coma, I've had a death experience and near death experience, and I've seen the goodness of God, and I've seen his glory where I couldn't even withstand standing up. So I know what it's like to see God, to see heaven, to see those things. I can share that in another testimony another time, but this experience that I had was nothing like that. It was nothing but this darkness and demons that were tormenting me nonstop. And any time that I would not renounce God, or any time that I would not choose to do what they say, they would torment me more. It was just this darkness, not just in specific of light, because there was some light happening there, but because you can see what was happening, but there was just this darkness that was all around. And anytime one demon said one thing, the other demons would repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and say things and try to make me do and say things as well. And one of those things was to renounce God, and then they will let me go and let me be free. They would stop tormenting me. If I wanted them to stop, all I had to do was say, I renounce God, I deny him. And every time I would not do that. And And so, as I experienced these things, there were these 7 huge demons that were around me and tormenting me. And they looked like they looked like gremlins slash aliens, like I'm saying, when I say what they look like, I'm talking about like movies we've seen, right? You ever saw the movie Aliens and the Gremlins and all that? They kind of resemble them, but they're really big. These demons were really tall, and where we were, there was like this non-stop sound and music and noise that was non-stop, and I could just feel the darkness. And at some point I was never afraid, because I knew who God was, and I knew that he was always with me and would never leave me nor forsake me. But at the same time, it was almost like, God, I see you watching me. Why are you allowing this to just happen? And they would just continue to keep tormenting me. They would drown me. I believe the term is called waterboarding. I don't know if that's a safe word to say on the tube and on the Facebook, but when you put a towel or a cloth over someone's face, and they would just pour water over and over and over and over, where I was having a hard time breathing, and felt like I was drowning. And what was happening to me in the spirit reflected in the physical. There was points in time in the physical, even while I was on a paralytic, that my lungs would still spasm, and I would still have asthma, as though I was choking and drowning. And the doctors weren't understanding why. So they would up the level of it and up the dose of it, and not understand how could she be on a paralytic and be paralyzed from her neck down and still be able to move, or her lungs still be able to do what they're doing. And so it was a demonic attack on me. And still to this day, I know there's several reasons for it. There's reasons for why the Lord allowed it to happen. And I don't think I'm going to get into all of why it happened. But I know that the Lord was going to use it for new ministry. There are many. I've always had the gift for discernment, and the gift to see the spiritual realm. And I could see them. I can see the demons lurking. I can see when it was operating in someone. And I've always been gifted like that since a kid. I don't think I've shared that with many people at all. Because they'll probably say you're a bit crazy, you're a little off your rocker, you're seeing things, or you're probably schizophrenic. No, I'm none of those things. Because they don't scare me. But I can see them. And the Lord showed me who some of these demons were that were operating and tormenting me in this time of my coma. In this time of my coma, they would tie me up, torment me, and abuse me, like physically. If I didn't say or do something for them or with them, or agree with them, or say yes to that thing that they wanted me to do or say. And then there was times where it would just be drowning me to where I'm almost this close to dying. And none of the times did I say, okay, I renounce God. Fine. Do what you want. But at a point in the time of my tormenting, I did say, God, if you don't help me, I'm not going to be able to make this. Let thy will be done. And I leave myself in your hands, Lord. Only you can get me out of this. And when I did that, things started turning around. Things started turning around physically for me. In the world, in the normal world, right? Physical world, excuse me. And it started turning around for me physically. And a part of the torment was that I would hear some people in my room praying and then think, okay, nope, it was just a dream. I'm okay. I'm back. I'm back. And then they'll literally say, psych, you're not, and rip me back to the darkness. And they would do that here and there to make me think that I was okay. The Lord's here. He came and he got me, and I'm good. I'm back. I'm just in the hospital. I'm just not well. And the people are praying for me, and then rip me right back to the darkness and torment me and torture me some more. And so that kept happening over and over and over again for several days. I was in this coma for 12 days, right? 12 days and 9 days on the paralytic. And so all of this happened, and I was 12 days in a coma, fighting for my life, and things turned around. And the Lord, I want to say, pushed my best friend and my mom to intercede in a way that there was no way that they didn't touch heaven. And how they sent out prayer requests and pushing and asking the body of Christ to pray in certain moments of when they felt and saw that I was like feeling this torment happening. They pushed the people to pray and to fight. And so I'm grateful for that, because I know it was the prayers of the righteous that pulled me through. The Lord let me see people praying for me. People that I'm not, well, listen, when I tell you, I was able to see people that aren't even in the States, that aren't in my home, that aren't in my part of my biological family. People were praying for me all over the world. And it was a point of where he would let me hear them and see them in different languages, not just in English, but in Spanish and in Arab and in all these other languages of people who were praying for me all over the world. And I was just like, God, okay. And I would literally feel my soul just being pulled back into the light, pulled back into his presence and his presence alone, because he just kept pulling me and pulling me and pulling me through every prayer that kept coming forth. People who were praying for me nonstop, 24/7, around the clock, there was prayer happening to fight for my life. And after that happened, I started getting better. Things started turning around, and little by little, I woke up from as they began to see I got better. They lowered the sedations. They took me off of the paralytic, and things changed. But I woke up a different person. I woke up feeling like a different person. I woke up with, what's the word I want to look? I woke up feeling like I don't want to go back to sleep. I don't want to. It was hard for. I had both a spiritual thing happening, but also a chemical thing happening. Due to all the medications they had me on, I was hallucinating. I was seeing things, hearing things. I thought my little brother was in distress, and my nephew and my aunt who's not well, I thought she was in distress. I thought, like, I was hearing, like, if it was really happening in the hallway and things were going down. And yeah, it was the wildest thing. And so I was experiencing those things, but also there was this fear of being intubated again, because I didn't want to go back to that place that I was in. A part of why God has brought forth to me this, let me see and let me experience some of what I experienced, was a few of the demons that were there are tied to the narcotics that I was being given. And the narcotics that I was being given at the doses that I was being given was scary even for the doctors. They were afraid that I would overdose due to how much they were giving me or needing to give me. And the Lord allowed me to see those demons that are tied to those narcotics. And as I've been in recovery, I've been asking God, not so much why did this happen to me, in a way of, why me, God, why me? Not so much of that. There was a point of that, but then I had to change that. Why did you want this to happen or allow this to happen? And a part of the new ministry that God is opening me to function under is a part of deliverance. It's a part of knowing and seeing those demonic things that are operating. There are many pastors, ministers, prophets, evangelists who struggle with drug addiction and who hide it, and who have not been caught. And I don't want to say caught like, oh my God, you're going to be in trouble, but that are bound to those spirits, those demons that come with it, that hold you. The Lord, I feel, has put me in a place of where he wanted me to see who they were, what they look like, so I can call them out. And so, some people may say, well, all that happened to you, and for what? Like, look at you, you're struggling. You still stutter. You still have to do physical therapy and all the other therapies. And you know what? I am. I'm still doing all of the therapies, and I'm getting stronger. And what happened to me was a very serious thing, but there was also an assignment on me to take me out. There was an assignment to take me out, and if they couldn't take me out physically, it was to take me out mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But I'm grateful for the body of Christ who have been knocking down heaven for me, who have been fighting for me, who have been sending me prayers and messages and voicemails and voice messages and just encouraging me. And for Nanik, who at one point in this whole situation of my recovery, I didn't want to listen to people. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And not because I didn't want to, because I don't care. because my heart desired to be around people. My heart desired to be around my sheep and my flock and be with them. And it was hard because, one, I couldn't walk on my own. I couldn't feed myself. I was physically not capable, but also any person at a certain tone or level was too loud or too much to take in, or too much to talk to, or too much laughter, or too much this or too much that. It was just way overwhelming and way overstimulating. And I literally, my brain, my nothing could process that. And so it came to a point of where I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't watch TV. People you think in recovery would be laying there watching TV and hanging out and watching movies and just enjoying their recovery and trying to get better and get stronger. That's not the case for me. My house was quiet, silent. There was days where Nanique would just gently whisper and talk with me. But then there came a point of where my sister, who was my keeper, had to, no, Mocha, we're going to read the word. I'm going to read it to you. We need this. You need this. And she was able to discern that this whole thing was just to try to take me down and take me out. My mom, she would say scriptures to me and stuff like that. And it would help me. And when she would come by, it would be, ministering to my heart and my mind, and sometimes reading me some people's prayer requests or just listening to their prayer requests. Even though it felt so overwhelming for me, I fought through that and said, God, I know how you made me to be, and this is not it. I had to fight through that. I had to fight through not being able to listen to music. I couldn't, my brain, mind you, there was a couple things happening. It was something chemical and something spiritual at the same time. But if I allowed the chemical problem to really override all and take control, it would also give the spiritual dominion over all of the situation, right? And so I fought that, and Nanique had found me on YouTube, just this piano worship that was so gentle, so soft. And we would just listen. I think we gave them all the views in all the world because she had that thing on for me 24/7. It would calm me, it would relax me, and it was just that. And it was of what do you call it? Season sceneries, fall, spring, summer, just those soft, gentle things. Wow, with just some light piano worship, and that's all I could handle. That is all I could handle for weeks, sometimes I would say months. And it was like, man, God, what am I going to do? Oh, am I not able to, I can't listen to more than one instrument at a time. My body can't process that. I can't think about that. It makes me overwhelmed. It makes me anxious. I feel like I'm having anxiety. I feel like I'm having all of these things that are happening to me that is not like me, that is not the normal me. And then the Lord, little by little, nope, just do this. Just do this. Let's listen to this. The Lord used Nanique to remind me of songs. She came up to me one day. She probably doesn't even remember this. She came up to me while I was laying in bed, and she was like, "Hey, you remember this song? We used to do this back in the day." And she started playing it, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" And it made something in my brain just click, where there was more than one instrument in that song. And I was able to handle that. And then I was good. I felt like, okay, I can handle more than one instrument now. We're making progress. We're getting somewhere. God is doing what he needs to do to heal me and restore me. And there was this battle, mental and emotional battle. But if I didn't have the right people around me to bring me close to the Lord, even when I didn't want it, or felt like I didn't want to, or felt like I didn't need it, if I didn't have those people with me and around me, which is my mom and Nanique, I'm grateful for. if I didn't have that, I believe that I know that I would be extremely depressed, extremely anxious. I mean, having anxiety up the wazoo, and just completely given up and given away everything that has to do with music and dealing with music. And I would have completely shut everything and everyone out. And that's not what God is calling me to do. And that's not what God is calling you to do. And so I'm grateful for where I am and what's happening, right? But also the restoration journey, is the recovery journey, is not easy. It's not easy. So in the process of all that hospital, intubation, coma, paralytic state, all that stuff, I also lost 80 pounds in 2.5 weeks. 80 pounds in 2.5 weeks. And at this point, it was like, okay, Lord, 80 pounds, 2.5 weeks. Okay, praise God. Cool. Don't know why, but all of my small muscles were deconditioned. All my small muscles were deconditioned in my entire body. And so it made everything harder. I could not lift my hands to hold the spoon to try to feed myself. I could not walk on my own. Walking didn't come till like weeks later. I tried hard. It was like my whole body went to sleep. Your leg fall asleep and you feel like you're gonna fall. Well, my whole body was like that. I literally was like swing my arm or hand to try to grab something and hold it. I couldn't grab anything. I was literally learning everything from the start, from the rip, from how to redo it. I think I'm only 2 months in of remembering how to tie my own shoes. 3 months now. We're in November. I couldn't remember how to tie my own shoes, man. You know, it was that hard it's still that hard. I can tie my shoes now, praise God. I can feed myself now, praise God. I can lift my hands without problems, praise God. I can open and close my hands and actually have some some strength in them. But that wasn't always what it was. Listen, I before I couldn't even grab this mic and pull it off. That would be so hard for me to do. I couldn't clamp things, like little clothespins. I couldn't even close a clothespin to clip anything. And it was humiliating to me because I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't clean myself. I couldn't shower myself. I couldn't anything myself. And I had to have other people do it for me. So the Lord was working a little bit on my pride as well. Right? Now, hey, it needs to be done. Help me, please, Lord. I'll send all the help. I want all the help because I can't do this by myself. We're not meant to do this thing by ourselves, right? And so with all that happening, I lost 80 pounds within that. And then I'm still continuing to lose weight. Praise God, I haven't really had to be on prednisone so that it won't counteract all the things that I'm doing and undo all the weight loss that I've been doing and working towards and getting healthy and being healthy. And so God is still doing what he's doing in my life, but even in the recovery process, even in the healing process, because my body is healing itself still, even my brain is healing itself still. I still have the issues, but God is still faithful. I'm able to do all these things on my own. I came to a point in my recovery now where I'm getting stronger, but I still lack a lot of strength in a lot of areas. My right side is completely weaker than my left side. And so I struggle with balance and strength. And so I'm still working with that. And, there's also the part of where sometimes you hear me stutter. There's the cognitive issues. Before I wasn't feeling fear. I could not feel fear for nothing. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. But, a car's coming on our lane and ready to hit head to head. And I'm just like, that's weird. But and everybody could be freaking out. And I'm just like, should they be there? I don't know. Oh, well. Everybody could be panicking. I'm just free. I'm just fine. I'm like, there's nothing wrong. Or I'm getting ready to fall down the stairs and I don't really feel it because I'm not fully balanced. And I'm not, oh my God, I'm going to fall down the stairs. There was not that for me. And but even in that, God is faithful, because even in that moment of feeling not like I don't even have fear, my depth perception is off, my response time to danger isn't fast, isn't quick. Even in that, I think right before I left to Guatemala in September, something happened and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I felt like, oh wait, I feel fear. Oh my goodness. And I was so excited. I was like, Nanique, oh my God, I felt fear. Oh my God, we almost died, but I felt fear. Oh my God. And I'm just like, this is exciting. This is great. This is wonderful. Like, God is waking up my brain. Things are starting to connect. Things are starting to spark, right? And God is doing what he's doing, and he's restoring all the things, right? But another thing that the Lord's been teaching me in this time of my recovery is if I want to keep the gifts that he's given me, I got to put in some work for it. And sometimes he gives us a gift, but we got to put some work in for it, right? If I want to keep my voice and singing, I have to keep working at it. I have to keep trying. I have to get voice lessons. I have to retrain my brain, retrain my throat, retrain my diaphragm to learn how to breathe properly. Listen, just 2 months ago, I couldn't even speak at this level and tone. Just 2 months ago, I couldn't even barely sing a song fully out like a normal person. Like just 2 months ago, I couldn't even hardly do much of those things. It was a struggle for me. I didn't know how much air I needed for every sentence or the amount of words that I was going to say within a sentence. I would talk like this. I would say, I didn't even know sentence. Like I would talk like that, because I wouldn't know how much air was needed or how much air I needed to let go slowly or quickly or whatever was needed for my airflow. But thank God for the therapy that I've been attending, and he's been slowly showing me and retraining me, and it's been wonderful, right? But it's also been humbling, because these are simple things that sometimes we take for granted. We don't think about them when they're not something that we're struggling with. And so God is faithful. In this whole process, God has been faithful. God has been by my side, and he has been all that he said he would be and promised to be in this. And in his word that he's promised us. And the new ministry that he's raising me up for in a part of deliverance, it's new territory for me, definitely. To an extent, it's new territory for me, but I know that he's going to use it in a mighty way and for only his glory. But I know it's to help return his children back to him. The deliverance that he's looking to do is to help people who are suffering, who are bound to these demonic things and feel they have no way out. Feel they have no way out. Feel there is no one who can help them. And it is not to bring shame to people. It's not to say, hey, you're a drug addict. you're a pastor and you're a drug addict. It's not to do that. But there's things that these demons, there's things that they do, manipulation and sneakiness that they do that can really make someone think that they are okay and they're really not. And so it's for me to be able to speak to that thing and also to pray them through and help them return back to the Father. And so I'm grateful that the Lord would even consider me to do anything like that. And I'm on a new journey with my recovery and in my life, and I'm grateful for what God is doing and how He's speaking to me and how He's restoring me, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And I think He's shifted a lot of things in my life and in my mind and my heart and my soul to the trajectory that He originally had for me before a lot of things that has occurred in my life occurred. And so I'm grateful for that, and continue to pray for me as I am in recovery, because recovery is painful. If ain't nobody told you, it is. It's painful. It's very, very painful. Because all of my small muscles, which we have hundreds of them, they hurt every day because they are in recovery and trying to regain back, right? So they are a painful thing. But continue to pray for me. Continue to pray that God will touch my body and that I will be stronger and stronger every day. I do feel that He is doing that. I don't want to rush the process because I want to do this and do it right. And so I am just going with the flow of what the people He's put in my life. My therapists are great. They are awesome therapists. They know what they're doing. And I've made huge strides in this recovery process that I probably shouldn't even be to where I am right now. But continue to pray for me that I can get my 100% healing and recovery, and that I don't lose hope and that I don't lose faith that God is my healer, because it can get hard sometimes. It can be discouraging sometimes. For example, last week I was at therapy, and the therapist, I was doing this exercise with a weight. I leveled up to a weight. So I got weights now. And so I leveled up to a weight and it's an 8-pound weight, and I'm doing this overhead movement. And then next thing you know it, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not I feel like when I put this over my head like this, like it's not, I don't feel nothing here. Like it's not doing any exercise to this arm, this hand. And he's like, yeah, no, it's probably doing nothing to that one. So I said, but I feel like it's doing a lot here. Like it's a lot. And then he was like, well, yeah, because you're supporting one and the other. And he was like, well, we could try doing one arm at a time. See if that might change something. He's like, try your left first. Did the left, bang, nothing, easy. I felt the weight, like I felt like it was working me out. We're good. All right. Tried my right side. I went like this, shaking, bringing it up, and then went back and dropped it because it was too much. And it was only 8 pounds. Okay. So he's like, yeah, no, you're not doing the 8 pounds on that side. Let's do a lesser weight. So he gave me 4. That felt, so I did, he's like, 4 on right, 4 pounds on your right, 8 pounds on your left. And go up. Went up. When I went up, it felt exactly like it was the same amount of resistance. He's like, well, that's what That's the difference between your right and your left side. You see? And I was just like, I am that weak on that side, really? Like, God is halfway, like it's half and half. Like, oh my goodness, like how am I gonna get this better and be the same and be equal like I used to be? And how am I gonna get back to what I used to do and all the things? And I felt discouraged. I felt so discouraged. But I didn't say anything to him. I was just like, okay. That's all I said to him. And after he finished with another patient, he came over and he was like, come here. And I'm like, what? I'm doing my exercise. He's like, stop your exercise. Come here. I saw your discouragement. Do not be discouraged. You went through hell and back. And you experienced some things that affected one side of your brain. And it's okay. Look it, you were able to do 4 pounds. It's okay. Don't be discouraged. You came in here on a cane, barely being able to walk. Look at you. You're not with a cane anymore. You're walking on your own. You can stand on one foot better. You can do all of these exercises that I'm giving you, and you're remembering better. He just started listing all of the things that I was like and what I can do now, and just told me, don't be discouraged. And, this man is not a Christian, and he surely doesn't know I went through hell and back or went to hell and back. He doesn't know that. But even in recovery, the enemy can try to use things to discourage us, to make us think that we're not growing, that we're not getting better. But we have to remind ourselves and be always with an attitude of gratitude of, thank you, God. I was walking with a cane not too long ago, and look at me now. Listen, last year at this time, I was intubated fighting for my life. Right after I got out of the coma, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even feed myself. I couldn't even clean myself. I couldn't shower myself. I couldn't anything myself. And I just had to remember, okay, God, this is what you wanted. Got it. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the people God has put in my life. I'm a survivor. As you see my shirt, my homies, my girls, they gave me that. Thank you, Vivi, Ale, Gabi. Appreciate it. I am a survivor. I survived. But I'm also more than a conqueror. And so that is what happened to me in this past year. That's some of what happened to me this past year. Excuse me. That's what happened to me medically. And I'm still in the process. I'm still in the fire. But it's not burning me. And God is keeping me. He's maintaining me. He's strengthening me. He's renewing me. He's refreshing me. And I'm grateful for the people that walk with me. I'm grateful for the people that walk with me. And that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. It's about walking together. It's about walking together. We have to walk together. We have to walk together so that way we can grow. That way we can mature. But also that way we can be encouraged. And we can do what God has called us to do. So that is my testimony. Continue to pray for me. You'll still hear me stutter from time to time, here and there. You'll still hear me get winded while I'm singing. Thank you for being gracious and kind. For having mercy on me for when I'm singing. And, I definitely know I went out of tune or I went crazy or just not hitting the note. My old self would have been like, my God, don't do that. But my new self is trying to have mercy and grace for myself. And so, and because I'm not doing it for anyone but the Lord. So I could care less what y'all think at the same time. No offense. But I am, I'm grateful for what God is doing. And so I'm grateful for the people that walk with me too. There's nothing like having people who walk with you. Caminando juntos, you know, the walk together. It's what's needed in this walk of Christianity, that we have people who walk with us, and people who fight with us and pray for us, fight for us, and help us to stay on the straight and narrow. That's what's needed. And so I'm grateful for that, and the people who prayed for me, who fought for me, who warfared for me. I'm grateful for you as well. And God is getting the glory in all of it. Even in the midst of craziness that has happened even after my hospital stay. Listen, if I added that in there, you'll be like, yo, the devil really was trying to do a number on you. And that's the truth. That's the truth. He really was. Anything he can do to shut me up, anything he can do to keep my mouth quiet, anything he can do to take me out mentally and emotionally, anything he can do is what he was trying to do. But greater is he that is within me than he that is in the world. Amen. So that is what has happened, what is my testimony, and what God is doing, what he's done. And, you know, soon you'll hear more things about what he's doing in my life. Some upcoming things that is in the works, in the background right now. I'm excited because God is good, and God is faithful. Listen, he's faithful. When I tell you there's zero reason for there to be a smile on my face, for there to be joy in my heart, for there to be peace around me, in my soul, in my mind, for there to be anything right now that you see, there is zero reason for it to be, because everything in hell has tried to stop it. But greater is he. Right? So, anywho, that is my testimony. That is what I've been through. This is what I've experienced in the past year. And thank you for taking time to listen to me, or whoever watches this, you know, later on another day or another time. I'll leave it posted to my YouTube channel and to my Facebook and to my Instagram. Yeah, I'll make it a reel. But yeah, thank you for excuse me, taking the time to listen. That was a deep yawn. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me anything. You can just type it in the comments and I will read it. Thank you for showing love on my post. All right. I don't see any questions or anything, so yeah, I think we're good. God is going to do what he's going to do, and I am excited. And ain't no devil in hell going to walk over me. Sorry. What? Hold on. It's not showing me who's saying that. Pablo. Sorry I'm late. Can I request a song? I wasn't singing, bro. I wasn't singing. I was just sharing my testimony as to what happened and what I experienced um, this past year with my health. Not even all that I experienced, but with my health, what I experienced in my coma and all that good stuff. But sure, you can request a song. I don't know if I can sing it, but I can try. I don't know. So yeah. Ah, God is good, man. I'll wait for your comment. I don't know. Yeah, any other questions? If you guys have no questions, I will end it. But expect to see more of me. Expect to see more I don't want to say content, but yeah, more online content, if you want to say that. Because I will as I get stronger, I am going to be, doing worship online. I am planning to I'm trying to find a venue though. I want to have a worship night. I'm really trying really hard to get as strong as I can to be able to do what I used to do. Because I'm not all there yet, but I'm looking to have a worship night. I want to have a venue that can hold enough people to have a worship night, just full out worship, no preaching, just worship like we are getting down and dirty in the presence of the Lord, laying prostrate at his feet, just really entering, warfaring, and all the goodness that we can get in the presence of God, right? And so that's my goal. Hopefully soon enough I can have that. And looking to next year soon, also have my conference that I put on. I'm looking to do that soon as well. The what's that called? Beyond the Sanctuary worship conference. I'm looking to do that as well. So, yeah. So y'all let me know. I don't know. I'll keep y'all posted. Don't forget to follow my Facebook page, my ministry page. It is me, so that you could see what's coming up, where it would be. My goal 100% is for us to seek the face of God, return the hearts of the people to the Father, make disciples who make disciples, and mature. That is the goal. So, with that said, okay, let's see. I request a song too. Who said that? Mommy. Thanks, Pablo. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. My mom wants me to do it, Precioso Jesus. I don't know. So, yeah. My voice is pretty tired for tonight. I did a lot of singing for Worship in a Word. So, but if I have some energy tomorrow, I'll come on live and just do worship just because. But with that said, need to close it with one. I don't know. My voice is really tired. But I am grateful for what God has done and what he's doing in my life. And yeah. He's faithful, y'all. There's nothing impossible for him. Nothing. Nothing. And we have so much power. Y'all about to get me talking about something. Y'all about to get me preaching. See, nope. Just, okay. I want you to understand the power that God has given us to speak to the mountains and the mountains move, right? But to speak to demons with the authority that Christ gives you because of how powerful his name is, it's bigger than you can even understand. But we don't function in that. Many don't function in that. But don't worry. The closer we get to the Lord, the easier it will be to know the power that you have and the authority that you have to trample over serpents and demons. Anywho, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank you for listening. If you didn't see it all or listen to it all, hear it all, it'll be reposted in just a moment after I hang up. No, not hang up. After I disconnect, end the live, whatever, end the stream. You'll be able to hear it. And I hope that you're blessed by it. And know that God is faithful and that he never leaves us nor forsakes us. And that even in the midst of your trial, he's still going to get the glory and do whatever it is to get the glory. And so just remain faithful, remain steadfast, remain unmovable, and continue to keep seeking him diligently, and continue to keep praying for me diligently as well, please. And I hope you guys have a blessed night and that you are feeling nothing but peace in his presence wherever you are. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. And hopefully I will see y'all tomorrow. If I'm strong enough, I got y'all. I'll do some worship. I'll see if I can get Nanique. Don't tell her. I'll see if I can convince her. All right. Love y'all. Good night.